Hey everybody, this is Reapy Ron, and this is going to be another one of Ron's reviews. This movie is going to be, this one is going to be on Martyrs, the movie. This is going to be the 2008, and I'll talk a little bit about the 2015 one. I haven't actually watched the 2015 one, but I've heard from other people who have watched it and have watched this one. Anyway, I actually own the movie. Hopefully you guys can see that. And what the overall movie is about. It's about these two women who were. One of them was captured when they were a child and tortured in a way. She escaped her captor and then met this other girl who they became friends with. And then that's pretty much where the story goes. And then as it starts, and this really isn't giving away a spoiler, the girl who was captured tracks down the people who captured her and wants to take revenge on them. And that's pretty much the overall setup of the movie. I don't want to give up, too much away because there's quite a bit more going on underneath the surface than what is going on that you see. Anyway, the movie is an extreme horror movie. It's considered an extreme horror movie, and this one really makes sense. It's got quite a lot of points where it's got torture and mutilation and things like that in it. Not nearly as much as like a Serbian film, which I did a video on already, and there's more movies I plan on doing that are like potentially more extreme than this, but this still sets it in a good way where it's still very extreme and it's meant to be taken seriously, and it portrays that pretty well, rather than certain movies where they just try to go the most extreme thing they ever could think of, and then it turns out being stupid and silly, something like the Human Centipede or something. But I'll do a video on that eventually too. Yeah, the movie is all in French as well. It's one of the French extreme horror movies that came out in a while, since there was quite a few movies that came out at that time. Overall, I think this one's probably one of the best ones because I really enjoyed this movie. It was good. It's good. It's disturbing. I own it simply because I want to watch it more. Anyway, well, more. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Now what I'm going to get into is the parental guide of everything in it. Most of these movies that I do reviews on are not intended for a younger audience, although that doesn't mean I won't do some, because I have Gremlins right over here and I plan on doing that eventually too, because I love that one. But anyway, in the sex and nudity, there is nudity, somewhat nudity in there. There's not a lot of it, and it's not meant to be necessarily sexual in any way, because there is no real sexual scenes throughout it. So there is nudity, but it's limited and not focused on. So I don't think it has as big an impact as, like I said, like a Serbian film, which was all about, that one was like the torture porn exactly to where it was supposed to be of what they wanted to do. This one it's in there because it's in there. So fairly minimal for an extreme movie. I'd probably see like a 6 out of 10. You've probably seen this in other R-rated movies and even some PG-13 movies probably, but it's pretty limited to where it is. In the violence and gore is pretty high because there is quite a lot of it. What I've been told is there isn't as much of like the dark and grittiness in the 2015 American remake, which seems kind of weird since this one is supposedly shot in Canada. But And you know, it's not hard to find the English dub for this because I found it without any trouble. But yeah, it's pretty dark and somewhat depressing as well, which kind of adds to the violence. There's, like I said, various torture and some mutilation scene. There's also child abuse in it, which can disturb certain people. So this one's going to be a 10 out of 10. Without any trouble, it's going to be that high. In the profanity and language, there wasn't a ton. There was some, but it wasn't, swearing constantly. Or even name calling all that much, which I guess could be considered profanity. So probably, again, a 6 out of 7, a 6 out of 10, maybe a 7 out of 10. It's, it's up to how easily offended you think you are. And like I said, this is considered an extreme horror movie. So compared to other extreme horror movies, it doesn't really use that much profanity. In the alcohol, drug use, cigarettes and all that, there isn't really any to talk about. I mean, there's probably some throughout it, but I really don't remember any. If so, there was very minimal. I think there was cigarette smoking and drinking towards the end, but nothing so, not like tons of drug use or anything. So 4 out of 10, that seems fair. And then frightening and intense scenes, there is a lot throughout, especially in this one. What I'm told is in the 2015 one, they cut it down quite a bit. Like, the first half of the movie in the 2015 thing is pretty much the same as this one. But then the second half, they pretty much just turned it into kind of like an average horror movie. You know, how you would expect a horror movie sort of to end. It's just got that kind of pacing to it. Whereas this one gets into a lot more gritty and disturbing stuff. So this one's going to be a 10 out of 10. I'm not sure about that one because, like I said, I haven't seen it. If you see it, then, you can tell me. And then finally, well, I'll do my pros and cons now. The pros to this movie are that it's extreme and it's good. If you're looking for an extreme and a good movie and you haven't seen this one, go and check it out. You'll like it. Well, probably. I shouldn't just right out say that. But, it's also got pretty good characters, good development. There's a good pacing to it. It's not, like in some, like considered extreme movies, they can just go slow and slow and slow, and it can seem like, it's been 2 hours when it's barely been an hour. But this one's pretty, the start is a little bit slow, about the first 15 minutes maybe. But then after that, it picks up, and then you're not, it kind of mesmerizes you at that point. So it's got that. It's got good music, good cinematography, everything like that. I'm not the best at picking out words like that. Anyway, the cons to it, I really don't see a lot of cons to it because if you know what you're getting into, that it's going to be an extreme horror movie, there's not going to be a whole lot of cons to it. I mean, certain ones, the ending's not for everybody, which, there's rarely a movie that has an ending for everybody. But it's not bad. Even if you, didn't care for it, you could still appreciate the movie. Anyway, I'm not sure about the 2015 American remake. I haven't seen it, so people said this that one sucks. But like I said, I don't really know. And then finally, my overall judgment of this, what I would rate it. Given against other horror movies and other extreme movies, I would easily give this thing a 10 out of 10. It's one of the best extreme movies, one of the best horror movies I've ever seen. It's got pretty much everything I want in something like this without any of the parts that could just, put it over the top and make it silly or just, dumb it down for people to understand, things like that. So that one's, this one's 10 out of 10 on horror movies. Against other just movies in general, then this one's still probably a 9 out of 10, maybe up to a 10 out of 10 in my opinion, because it's still really good. And even if you don't enjoy horror movies or extreme movies, I guess, I'm not really sure what the difference is there, but if you didn't particularly like that kind, you could still appreciate this movie and still probably find something you like in it. That being said, that's pretty much my review. It's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, check it out. I'm going to try to find some links, maybe on Netflix, maybe on Amazon Prime. I don't know if it's there. If it's not, I'll just leave a link to where you can buy it, which will be on Amazon because you can buy everything on Amazon. Yeah, if you guys have other opinions or thoughts on the movie, go ahead, or in the 2015 one, put them down in the comments. I'd love to read them because, not everything is gonna work for you that worked for me, and same, vice versa. So, yeah, if you enjoyed it, recommend it to friends. I love it. It's a good movie. It's about all I can say about it. If you guys have been having a good day, keep on having a good day. If you guys have been having a bad day, I hope this video made your day just a little bit better. I hope to see all of you guys next time. Until then, stay cool and bye.